Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chung here. So today's daily challenge problem, right? Number 936, stamping the sequence. Hmm, this one is a hard problem, and basically, we want to form like a target string, right? By using the stamp. So at the beginning, right? I mean, the whole sequence are all question marks, and you can stamp anywhere by using the stamp. So, but you have to make sure the stamp can be stamped all together, right? So, which means at the beginning, if it's like all question marks, we can stamp into any places. We can stamp to the first three, or in the middle, or the last three, right? And then in the end, actually, we want to get the target string here. So, for example, right, we have this kind of sequence like A B A B C. And so one way of doing it, we can stamp at at zero at the first place, and then we will have like ABC, right? And then we have a question mark, and then the second time we can stamp on here, right? So we have ABC. That's how we get AB ABC, and it asks us to return the sequence, right? The the places, the sequence of places we did our stamp. And so if the sequence is possible to stamp, and then it's guaranteed it is possible to stamp within 10 times target.length moves, and any answer specifying more than this number of moves will not be accepted. Okay. Yeah, basically this kind of makes sense, right? Because actually the time of stamps, it at most it could be the length of the target, right? Because at each time we only stamp when we can stamp. Okay. And if the sequence it's not possible to stamp return empty array. So that's why we have already saw the first examples. Now we have the second one, right? So for this one we have A, B, C, A, C, A. Okay, and the answer is 301. Basically we stamp 0, 1, 2, 3. We stamp at here first, and then we stamp at 0, and then we stamp at 1. And the constraint is like which is 1000, right? So to solve this problem, the key to solve this problem is to think it in a reverse way. Basically, we'll every time we'll keep stamping this array. So the way we're stamping it, we're stamping it into the question marks backwards from the target. So which means that uh, for this A B C A, right? So first time we'll stamp where? We'll stamp here because A B C A matches with the stamp, right? So which means for this one we can stamp it. We can change it to what? To the A question mark, and then CA, right? And after this one, and we'll keep doing this, and when we try to find a place if it can stamp, so if it is like a question mark, so basically it's as if it's a wild card, which means that we can do anything with those question marks. So which means here, the first time we have this stamp this ABCA, right, into question marks, and then the second loop we start from the first one, right? So does this one match with a stamp? Yes, it is, because our stamp is ABCA, right? So A matches the first one, and the remainings are simply question marks. So which means we can also stamp from here, right? And after this one, after the second for loop, this one becomes question marks again. Okay, and then the last time we'll also do the check. So we check if we can stamp on the first one. So one more thing is that if everything is question marks, then we don't want to stamp because it doesn't make sense. Right? We're not making any progress. So we only stamp when there is at least one letter that can be changed from the letter to the question mark, right? So here it's not possible, and only when we reach here, actually. So when we reach this index here, if we use this one to compare with ABCA, then we find another match because the first two are question marks and the last two matches. That's why the third time we'll stamp from here, right? And basically, and then we'll change the last two into the question marks. Now we have changed all the letters into question marks, right? But remember, we're doing this in the reverse way. That's why in the end, we'll reverse our final answer, that array, right? Yeah, so that's basically the idea here, since since if you want to do it in a in the regular way, we don't know actually. I mean, we don't know the actual sequence. Basically, if we start from all question marks, right? So we have like 7 question marks, right? Right. So let's say if we're trying to do it following the description of the problem, they're all question marks, and then we have ABCA, right? And with all question marks and the ABCA, actually we have so many options that we can do because since every time when we do like do a stamp, we can overwrite from the existing one, right? So if we start from the question marks here, let's say if we try to do a ABCA here, right? ABCA because the A matches, right? And then the second time actually we can do another A here, right? We're gonna do another A here since we want to match the second one. It's gonna be a ABCA here, right? And then the third time is a B and C, and then we have a A, right? The C and A, and then now here is our question marks here. So we have AABCA, and then what else? And then we will have like the we need to make sure the last two matches C and A, right? But how can we do it? Because we can only do this A, B, and CA, right? That's why we have to do A, B, CA here. But now this AB that doesn't match with the CA, right? So which means we have to go back to AB to do another overwrite here, right? Which is kind of like very complex to analyze, right? But if we think it in a reverse way, then everything becomes much clearer. Basically, every time if as long as this value is question mark, it means that we can put anything here. So all we need to consider is the non-question mark values. And in the end, we simply just need to reverse the order, right? Cool. So with that being said, let's try to code these things here. So like we need, since we're going to update the targets, first thing, let's define a few like variables. So we have a stamp, length of stamp, and then we have a length of target. Okay. And I'm going to convert this target into a target list because in Python, string is immutable, right? So we have target. And then I'm also going to define like this remain. Basically, this remain means that how many letters are not question marks. Okay. Then we have the answer equals to empty. And then we keep doing this while the remaining is still not 0. So, and then we also have like the so when we will return the empty array. So basically, anytime within the current for loop, if we cannot find any place we can do the stamp, that's when we will return the empty array, right? So which means that I'm going to have like flag equals to false. and then later on, basically every while loop, if flag is false, then I simply return the empty list, right? Otherwise, in the end, I return the reverse order of the answer. Okay, cool. So now for the while loop, for the for loop, right? So for I in range of n minus one, n plus one, right? Because the stamp has to be able to fit into the entire string, the entire target. That's why we stop at this place. And then we have a how should we call this? If let's just do a check. So I pass in this index. Basically, if the check returns true, right? So first I update this flag equals to true. It means that we have find a place that we can stamp, right? And then I'm going to append these things into the index into the answer. And then I'm going to update. So I'm going to update the this target list, right, into the I guess I can do this. So target list of starting from I, right, plus m, right, equals to what? Equals to the question mark times m, right? I think that's how we can do it. The update in Python. Basically, I'm updating everything into the amp here. And actually, since we need to, I'm also going to maintain this remaining here. Yeah, probably I will not use it this way here. I'll just write another for loop here to help me track this remainings. Okay, so for j in range of m here, basically if the target list of I plus j, right? If this one is not a question mark, I update this one into question mark, right? And then I also decrease this one by decreased by one, because only this way I can track this remaining one. Otherwise, if I do that the previously update, I will not be able to know like how many unquestioned mark letters we have changed, right? So yep. And now for the check, right? So like I said, the check, it will do two things. First, it will check if this if starting from this index, if it match the stamp, right? Second one is that if there's any question mark letters, then basically those two combined conditions, because if everything is starting from I, it's question marks, which we also don't want to do the stamp, right? That's why for the check, I'm going to have like the start index. I'm also going to define like flag here. Okay. So for I in range of m, right? So for each letters, we compare the target letter starting from the start with the stamp. So if the target list of start plus I, right, is equal to question mark, right, and then we continue, right, because question mark is anything. Else we set this one to true, means we have find unquestion mark letters, right? And then if the stamp dot I does not equal to the stamp target list start plus I, right? And then we return false. Otherwise, in the end, we can simply return the flag, right? Because here we have already checked, if there's any unmatch, we simply return false. And then in the end, we simply check if we have find at least one unquestion mark letter. If it is, then we return true, otherwise false. So yep, that's it, right? I mean, that's pretty much the whole logic here. And yeah, let me try to run this code here. Oh, I think there's a typo here. Okay, accept it, right? So if I run the code, cool. Yep, so it passed, right? I mean, for the time and space complexity, right? So So for time complexity is a little bit complicated. Basically, we have like this is like n, right? So we have a n loop here, and for each n here, we'll do a check, right? So the check is like range is m, right? So at least we'll have like n times m, and so this is n times m, and here actually, uh, seems like we based on top of n times m, we have like another like m here, but uh, the thing is that we're not always calculating this one, because we'll only do this for loop here, when the check is true, right? And the check is not true, or will only be true if there's like n question marks. So here I'm not 100% sure if there's any another factors we need to add here, because we only do the check. This m bounded with the number of checks, right? The number of the checks returned true. And for this while loop here, actually, for this while loop here, it's not like another m or n, because this is like should be a constant values, you know, because the bigger the m is, right? The bigger the m is, the smaller this while loop is. Let's say if the m is 1, right? Then of course, we're gonna have to do another a while loop here. The smaller, actually, for this while loop here, it's because within each, actually it's also bounded with the length of n here. So I would say this while loop here is also not like another factor of n times m, because this is like a fixed value. So I know, so this is a little bit complicated, but I think the best I can do for now, right? So I would say for sure it's n times n, but regarding this two one, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, cool. So yeah, I mean, so basically the key idea for this problem is to think it to solve it in the reverse way, right? Which means that we'll try to stamp this target back to the question mark, because the reason being is that as long as this position has stamped back to the question mark, we can ignore it, right? And we can only check the unquestion mark letters, and in the end we can simply return the answer in the reverse order. Cool. I think that's it. I'll stop here. Thank you for watching this video, guys, and stay tuned. See you guys soon. Bye bye.